Hello,
Hello!
we're Luke and James.
Welcome aboard our adventure on Norwegian Prima.
We sailed to Norway and Iceland on a 12-night cruise with Norwegian. This time, we're back in Norway! But before we get there, we've got a sea day to do first. We love a sea day. It's the perfect time to shut off from the world. So we got up and had breakfast and headed to our favourite place, the observation lounge. And after an hour or two of watching the boats go by, we decided to explore the ship a bit more. We're still trying to get our bearings on the Prima, and there's so much to do. So we started the fun with a game of mini golf. This is a really cool 9-hole course. Followed by a trip down the terrifying drop slide. Top to the bottom of the ship in about 5 seconds. Obviously better than waiting for a lift/elevator. Followed by a lovely walk around the promenade deck. We've been so lucky with the weather this week. Who knew the North Sea could look this amazing? The prom deck has got this amazing glass walkway where you can see the water underneath. I mean, it's obviously not for everyone, but still really cool, right? And slightly terrifying. The prom deck has also got a really cool sculpture part, which we spent a bit of time looking at before lunch. We ate in the indulged food hall this time. Today they were serving some amazing curry and noodle dishes, and after that we had a bit of a chill out on the cabanas, whilst maybe helping ourselves to a dessert or two. And from there we spent the most of the afternoon chilling by the pool. Check out Mr. Happy Feet. The weather was beautiful and it was really warm. The perfect climate for a little doze. Okay, a big doze. And later on in the afternoon, time for a little walk to refresh ourselves. And then dinner time came round really quickly. I had a noodle dish to start. Luke had croquettes. I had a fish dish with rice for main. Luke had the chicken schnitzel for main. And we finished off with a really delicious orange cake and 2 portions of ice cream for Luke. And all just in time to watch the sun go down on a perfect sea day. From here we headed in the lift down to the main atrium where the house band were playing. The atrium was jammed packed, you could barely find a seat, but we managed to squeeze in on the end of one of the benches. Time for bed. We'd previously sailed to Norway on our first ever cruise with P&O Iona. And we were so excited with this cruise because we get to go back to Stavanger. This was our first ever cruise port. Stavanger is the 3rd largest city in Norway. It's a really popular port with cruise lines because it's the gateway into the fjords. With this being our second visit here, we still find plenty to do. So after a lovely breakfast in the buffet, we decided to just have a wander around. So first off, we knew exactly where we could get some amazing shots of the ship, and all you need to do is keep walking left around the harbour. From here we walked up the back of the restaurants in the harbour side, where we got to a place called Fargegarten. And this is the most colourful street in Norway. It's full of beautifully coloured buildings, art, restaurants, quirky shops. It's an amazing place to get some photos. And they'd even put some bunting out for us. Must have known we were coming. We absolutely love this place. So a short walk from here is the Petroleum Museum and Industrial Area, where we came across this really quirky park which was made from buoys, old satellite dishes, bits of metal and skips. and was covered in this really bright graffiti, which made for some really interesting shots. Luke came across this really great big piece of pipework or machinery that you could actually climb into and see all the inner workings inside. I think he's stuck. Nah, he's fine. So from here we had a really nice afternoon just walking around the park and just exploring some of the buildings. There is so much to do in Stavanger. There's a theatre, there's art everywhere you look, it's got plenty of history, and you can do some amazing excursions from here, like visit Pulpit Rock and the Viking swords. But if you wanted to stay local, there's still tons to do. We randomly found an exhibition of street art just under a bypass, and from there found one of the most famous sites in Stavanger, which was the White Houses. There's hundreds just by the ship, all with really beautiful picturesque gardens. And it's quite a sight when the ship just appears from behind one of these houses. It's just beautiful here, and the weather was truly on our side. Time to go back to the ship for a drink. Oh, okay, and some food. We're starving. So we had our lunch in the buffet. I had a burger, Luke had some chicken, and then we spent the afternoon chilling out in the pool with some friends. The weather was so nice, and we knew it was only going to get colder going north, so we decided to make the most of it. I think it was time for a snooze in our favourite place. Who's that in the distance? Early night for us. And a very early start. We decided to get up early and watch us sail into the fjord. I think this was around 6:30, and it was just light enough just to make out the silhouettes. And the view just got better as the sun came up. It's such an amazing sight to watch a ship just sail through these majestic fjords. I'd love to sit on the other side one day and just watch a ship just kind of come into view. We got to see waterfalls, little villages just dotted along the fjord, and the greens and the blues and the amazing views. And around an hour later, we arrived into Fjord, our second stop. Fjord is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which hosts a small town right at the foot, the Fossarasa National Hiking Trail, which runs alongside the Storsæter waterfall. And this was our plan for today, to walk up as high as we possibly could. But first, some troll spotting, who are part of the folklore here. There are lots of excursions to the top here, but we wanted to set ourselves a challenge and just see how far we can get on foot. Look at that backdrop for the ship. So off we went to the start of the Storsæter waterfall. The start is a really easy walk with plenty of walkways and plenty of platforms to stop and take photos. It was incredible to see how much water was cascading through. There was so much woodland and wildlife around here, and the backdrop against the mountains was just incredible. So a bit further up are more spectacular views and more photo opportunities. It just keeps getting better and better the further you go up. And the roar was just insane. And a little further up you start to get your first views of the ship and the fjord together. And you start to see some incredible views of the base of the mountains and the waterfall. There's quite a few tracks here which lead to various viewing points, and we decided on the nearest, the Norwegian route, which would take us up some hairpin bends to the Norwegian viewing point. This took us on some beautiful farmland at first, with goats in the field with tiny little bells on. Some of the walking tracks here are not that well trodden, so we'd recommend some suitable footwear as it can be quite slippery in places. And further up we go to reach the Norwegian viewing platform. From here you get some spectacular views of the fjord. We were blown away. We felt like we were up in the clouds. It was absolutely gorgeous up there, and one of the best views we've ever seen. It took around 2 to 2.5 hours to reach the platform, so after about a half an hour rest at the top we decided to head back down, and we took the road route this time, which was a bit quicker, and spotted some waterfalls on the way. Everywhere you looked, it's just spectacular. Time to head back down. So we eventually came back to the town area. We found a beautiful wooden church and some more views of the ship. Just about enough energy to walk around the town before getting back to the ship and absolutely crashing. And after an incredibly long nap, it was time to soak our aches and pains away in the pool. And then we decided to go back out again. We wanted to see the ship in the dark. So a really gentle stroll around the town and check out the Prima all lit up. We've had one of the best days here we've ever had on a cruise. And sadly it was time to leave. The following morning we'd reached our final stop in Norway, Ålesund. Now we had been here on our first cruise as well too, so we kind of knew what to expect, but then we'd spotted a familiar brand of ship we'd sailed on before. Hello P&O Arcadia. And we'd soon found out this would be following us on to Iceland. So from our previous trip we actually climbed the stairs in Ålesund right to the viewing area at the top, and as punishment we decided to do it again. The views up here are absolutely incredible, and we'd thoroughly recommend you do it if you get here. There are also bus options and taxi options to get here as well. You could easily spend an hour or so up here. There's just so much to look at. Can you spot the Prima? So back down in Ålesund town, it was time for some snacks. Who wants a salty Fred or a creamy Carol? So from here we decided to explore the harbour area. It's a great place with colourful buildings that reflect on the water, with plenty of boats, including Viking boats, small sailing boats, leisure cruisers and some beautiful sailing boats. In this area too you'll find some antique shops and a fish museum, and some little galleries as well, And then you'll find the harbour wall, which you can actually walk all the way around to the lighthouse point at the end. It's so incredibly peaceful down here. And some great views out to the little islands, as well as some really lovely looking buildings. What a perfect way to spend our last day in Norway. And so it was back to the ship for our ritual of a dip in the pool before dinner. And to catch the sail away. See you soon, Norway. We loved this sail away. There were so many different things to see from the pool. So after a dip, it was time to wave goodbye to Arcadia as we sail past her on our way out. The capacity didn't seem as full as the Prima, but it seemed the whole ship came out on deck to wave us off. We'd never been so close to a ship on sail away, and you could see everyone on their balconies. If you were on the ship, can you spot yourself? Hello! And so away we went. Goodbye, Ålesund. The sail out of here is so dramatic. It was quite overcast, but that really added to it. It was an amazing sight to see where the mountains meet the sea. And the low-lying cloud just made it really mysterious. Thank you, Norway. It's been an absolute pleasure once again. Our thoughts now turn to Iceland. Join us next time when we race go-karts at sea, cross the Arctic Circle, there's something magical in the skies, and we discover what Iceland has to offer. Thanks for watching! If you've enjoyed this adventure, don't forget to give it a like. And if you'd like to see more of us, hit that subscribe button. It really helps to grow our channel. See you next time!